Okay, so now let's focus on some additional effects. Let's first do this. It's very subtle. You don't really see it much in the render, but there's this sort of smoke buff expanding outwards from the main sim. That one's quite simple to set up. So I guess let's just set that up, and then let's do the embers. So it's both gonna be in the same chapter. So the embers are gonna be this stuff that's floating over here and floats downward. So both are quite simple, but they do both add, like the embers add more than the smoke, but like all of these stuff stacking up creates a convincing shot in the end. So let's build that. So we don't actually need to do that much for the smoke, but let's just go in here. Let's call it smoke puff or something like that. Let's go in there. Let's make a dot network. And let's turn off auto update here. Let's go into our pyro to flip and let's grab our collision object again. So those are these things. Let's just go in there, paste them in our solver. So now we should have our collision object in our solver on the left. You can see that works. So now let's do a pyro solver. So let's make a merge. Let's merge the pyro solver in. Let's do a smoke object. Let's put it in there. No, in the first input, not in the second one. And let's do a source. So volume source. Okay, so now let's make a volume source. So we need to go out of here. So we're gonna turn off simulation. So it's going to be our smoke puff here. Let's go in there. So where do we want to emit from? Oh, and by the way, okay, so what I think I want to do, by the way, before we continue, I don't think I want the collision with the gap in there. I think I'm going to do one without the gap, because we're going to blow smoke down and then it's going to sort of flow over the surface. So it's probably going to make more sense for us to use a collision object that doesn't have a gap in there for this effect. Let me just go into our environment setup and let's go out here. Let's just do a extrude. So I guess extrude volume. Let's plug. So this is going to be the geos. Let's put that one there. And let's do the VDB one. So, sorry, I'm messing up a little bit. We need to, of course, also make a collision source. First, do the collision source. Well, maybe actually our extrude volume also output a volume. Let me check. No, it doesn't. Okay. Yeah. So again, just make a null. Let's put these in there, and then our VDB in the. Takes a little bit to cook. Probably don't really need a high resolution volume for this. Can get away with super low resolution probably. Let's do a even lower, or like this. Just a very low resolution volume. Let's plug that into our volume sample over there. Geo VDB. Okay. Now we have this bug again. They should really fix at some point. Okay. Now let's make our source. So let's go into our smoke puff sphere. So let's show other objects. Let's move our sphere upwards. So something like that. And then let's do a pyro source. Let's do volume scatter source smoke. And so all we need is density and temperature for this. Let's make the temperature negative. So if we make it negative, then it's gonna move downwards when we put it in the sim. So let's put it in there, call it source. Oh, and we need to, of course, also rasterize these attributes. Volume rasterize attributes. So let's do density and let's do temperature. And we don't really, well, like we just want a very basic volume sim for this. So I don't think we need much else. So let's create something here. So let's create density. Put it to density. So that's gonna, so if we middle mouse on this, density temperature. And let's do temperature. And temperature. And let's just first turn off our collisions for now, so we can just have a look. Okay, so our pyro object is not big enough, so let's make it bigger because it doesn't contain our objects right now, so that's why it wasn't working. So if we just make this thing a lot bigger. Okay, so that works. Let's make a very low resolution sim, which is going to be faster. Okay, so you can see it moves down. And for some reason it's not. Okay, so this needs, so the collisions need to be merged in first, of course, else it's not going to collide properly. Okay, so now you can see it sort of hits the ground and then it sort of moves outwards. Well, we didn't want it to move outwards, but we also wanted to move down. So let's make a gravity. And let's check, by the way, if none of these are set to, yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna turn off my rocks for now. Maybe I probably don't even, you can see that makes it a lot faster because the rocks are somewhat heavy. So you can see we get sort of a smoke puff thing. Probably what we want to do is we want to tell the density to animate downwards. So let's put it to 1 in the beginning, and then put it down after that. Probably copy parameter in the temperature. So now we're only gonna source, like we're gonna source a little bit in the beginning, and then we're gonna stop sourcing it. Probably now we want to up the resolution a little bit because it's not really doing much. Oh, we want to probably put a gas resize to make everything a little bit faster. Oh. Resize, so resize fluid dynamic. Put that into resolve. Again, we already used that before, so you can see that's a lot faster now. We want to turn off dissipation for now, so then it won't dissipate as much. So you can see if we keep that on, you can see it won't dissipate, it just keeps moving across the surface. Okay. Now let's turn up our time scale on our volume. So let me get something like that. Okay, I think I'm gonna make my sphere a little bit bigger. I want to emit more stuff in the beginning. Turn off my resolution a little bit. Okay. Let's go into our shape. No, not combustion. Let's go into. Let's put buoyancy lift to 10. Let's see what it. It will probably push it down more. Okay. Let's turn down the buoyancy lift. Let's see what that does. So let's see how we probably want to push it out more. So maybe what we could do is if we go out here, let's take a look at our sphere, a polygon mesh. Let's make attribute VOP. Let's introduce some velocity. So I'm going there. Let's put our normal into velocity. So now we should have velocity in a normal direction. And this thing sometimes just doesn't. Okay, so now we have some velocity. You can see, yeah, so that like that. So let's do let's multiply. Let's go in here, multiply by a turbulent noise. Position, and I'll put the noise in there. Let's promote all of these parameters. Let's make an overall multiplier. All right, let's do it in here. So that will allow us to overall multiply our velocity, and that's increase velocity. So this visualizer for the velocity sometimes just doesn't work properly. I guess in this case it does. Okay. Let's increase it even more. 12. All right, so let's add another volume in our source. So let's say we want to add velocity. And then over here, we want to add V. So we're just saying we want to add velocity, which is a vector. Which I think maybe, okay, we don't want to do that in here. It seems to override it. So let's not do it, but let's do it in here. So this will, let's attribute. So let's say that we want V. Oh, no, we don't want that. We want density V. No. Does that work? So I guess what we want to do is want to maybe attribute transfer, because this creates it. I put this to volume scatter. So probably with surface scatter it would keep them, the velocities, but now it doesn't. So I guess we could transfer over our velocities. Like that. So now you can see now they're on our points. Now we should be able to get a velocity from this. Velocity, let's check if this works. Scatter volume trail. Yeah, that works. You can see, get some velocity. Okay, now we can add that in here. So let's go, whoop, vector. So I'm just adding one more operation to our source. V to target field val. Let's have a look. So now we get more of a poof outwards. I'm gonna make my resolution a little bit more lower, and I'm gonna increase my padding. So then we have more padding, so it doesn't cut it off at least. And I'm gonna add some, we already have gravity. I'm gonna increase my gravity, I think. I wanted to move down more in the beginning. Okay, so I You can see over there, it sort of gives this puffy thing. Probably want to key down how much velocity with source. Make a separate slider for it in case we want to increase it later. We don't want to link it up probably. And I'm going to increase my buoyancy again. And let's increase our time scale even more. Let's see what we get now. I get quite a different result than I had in my original, but I think I kind of like how it sort of just flows over the ground instead of over the entire thing. I do want it to be a little bit bigger maybe. Maybe let's try not a sphere, but let's try a torus. Just put a torus in there. Let's move it up. Let's make the radius smaller, so something like that, and then the let's see what that does. Probably already better. Let's make our torus very big. Okay, now I don't like that. Let's make it smaller again. So some velocity will also push inwards now. Not sure about that. Maybe something I want to try is add wind. So gas wind. Let's just blow some stuff to the camera. So let's have a look. Velocity update. So our camera is going to be here. So it's going to be in the Z direction. So let's put some wind in the Z direction. Oh, I don't want to probe it in the X direction. Okay, now I think I'm gonna change how long it should keep emitting, so we get a little bit more of a flow across the surface. Yeah, okay, this is better. Okay. Okay. So combustion shouldn't mesh with that because we don't really use combustion. Just turn it off. I think I'm gonna put in my sphere again. Make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, let's just keep it like that. Let's add our rocks in. Let's go up here. Just do a .io. Let's just load it in. And then let's cache it out. Smoke. We don't want rest. We don't want temperature. We don't want color. We don't want any of those things. Okay, let's do a file cache. Smoke. Puff. Let's do 170. And let's cache this out. We don't really need a high resolution sim anyway. Like, we're just going to comp this on very subtle, just as a nice shockwave sort of effect. Let's cache it out. And then let's do our embers. Okay, so very basic smoke puff. So let's put the output. And again, this is a very low resolution sim, but it's good enough for what we're using it for. Let's just hide it, hide this, hide this. Let's make another render node. RMDR, smoke puff. No. Okay, we want this one to go in there. All right, now we have that one. So now one more thing left. Let's do the embers. And then I think we have all of the basic ingredients to start lighting and shading. I mean, I had some small extra elements in my main thing, but these were all the major elements, and the other stuff was just me playing around. But these are basically all the main elements that we need to make our shot.